Hi everyone, I'm Julie from Julie's Everything Treasures, and I'm going to do a little bit of a farmhouse theme this time in the video, so I hope you enjoy the different farmhouse items I'm going to paint up. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're loving the channel, please subscribe and tell all your friends. Anyway, let's begin. I'm going to start off with, I've got 4 of these plates. We are going to be painting them, so unfortunately they will be home decor only. I won't be using paint or clear coat or anything that you can eat off, so these will be they'll be farmhouse home decor that you can actually just look at rather than use. So we're going to be doing that, and then first we're going to start with this board here I got from a thrift store, and I got it for, it was $1.99 and I got it at 85% off, so you can't resist, you know. So I'm just trying to take off the price here, and my first job is that I want to put some feet on this. It already has kind of little feet on, but I want to put some different ones. What I use for feet is I pick up little napkin holders, little cheap ones from the thrift store, and I just basically just stick them on with glue. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be using E6000 and just put the glue on the top of the napkin holder like this, if I can get the glue out. I always find it takes a bit when you haven't used the glue for a little while. Just dab it all the way around. And the key for the E6000 is once you've got it glued on, just leave it alone for a few hours, let it really get stuck. So I've got that one on, and I'm going to stick it in all 4 corners best I can. And that's one, and I'm just going to stick the others on, and I'll be right back with the painting. So we're going to paint up the plate. As I say, once I've painted this, it unfortunately will not be able to eat off it, but these were cheap thrift store plates. I got 4 the same, and what I'm going to be using is just some chalk paint here. Oh, that's the French side. So here in Canada we get the French side, so there you go, French and English. And I'm just going to do 1 coat, well maybe 2 coats, we'll see, but a coat of paint over each of the plates, just on the top. Don't need it on the bottom, they're already white, so the bottom can stay that colour. So I'm just going to paint over the top, and the reason I want to paint it, and it's already white, is I want it to have a matte look, and I'm going to be using some stamps, and the stamps adhere better to the matte painted surface than the shiny china surface, you know. So that's the reason I'm actually painting it. So I'm going to just carry on painting each of the 4 plates, and then we'll get on to painting the rest. So I just painted 1 coat on top of the tray on the wood, and I don't want it solid white, I want it rustic looking, so the 1 coat looks really good. Now I'm using a damp cloth, and while it's still quite tacky, I'm just rubbing the wet cloth along the edges so that I get that rustic look, almost kind of distressed, and just rubbing a little more on the corners. And just pushing back on some of it just to give it that little extra rustic kind of looking edges. Making it look a little older and not just freshly painted. As I say, more on the edges, on the corners. This corner here, and just let it wipe off where it wants to wipe naturally with the wet cloth. The glue's still drying on the legs, so I'm trying to be a little delicate of that while the glue dries for our napkin feet, napkin holder feet. So, and now I want to do the inside of the edge a little bit too. Just mostly on the corners, but just a little on the insides. So it almost looks like a frame. A rustic frame around. A little bit more on this corner. And I find it's so easy to do the wet distress when the paint is still a little tacky. Just find a bit of the cloth that you haven't used and it works really well. And just go around the edges, especially as I say the corners. And just going to hold it up. As I say, the feet are still wet with the glue, so I'm just going to hold it up, and this is kind of the look we have here. A little bit distressed. So I figured I'd keep going with the wet distressing. I wasn't going to do the inside, but because it's a different colour wood and a different style of wood, I kind of thought, you know, it'd be nice to see that. So I actually am going to try. If I don't like it, I can paint over it, but I'm going to actually distress, wet distress the inside too. And it's looking nice because it is two different woods, the inside of it and the outside are two different woods, so I think it was a good choice for this. So I'm just going to keep going, distressing, and I'm actually going to distress the inside more. I'm loving how it's coming out, so I'm just going to wipe with the wet cloth over the whole inside. And I'll show you in a minute just the look it's given, because it's coming out really nicely. Just a little more, it's too clumpy here. And there we go. Oh, sorry, a bit more. Sometimes you have to just stop and look and see. And there we go. So this is what we've got going on. And I'm liking this. So I'm going to let it dry. And when it's dry, we'll get to stamping. As I'm doing a farmhouse theme, I figured I'd use this stamp. It's a cow, big cow, and I'm going to put it literally right towards the bottom a little bit, but in the middle. So I'm using the stone grey because I don't want it to look new. I want it to look old. So I am just going to use the stone grey, get it everywhere. Put the lid back on. This is IOD permanent ink, archival I believe they call it, and an IOD stamp of the cow, so it's the animal farmhouse ones, and I'm just going to put it down towards the middle, down the bottom, but in the middle the best I can. Once you're down, just leave it, don't shift, let it find its place, and then push out all the details. Make sure you get the tail and the details of the cow. hoofs right down to the bottom. And then just make sure you go over the face and the nose. Once you think you've done everywhere, then you can lift it back off. And that's quite nice, rustic looking. If you wanted it more modern, I would do the black, but I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put some words at the top. So farm, I'm not sure. I'll be back with the letters. So I'm going to use some stencils. I'm going to use it says number 9 here, and I'm going to use this one, and it says grains on top, and I'm just going to put it in place and then just tap away. I'm using grey charcoal and just using the lid of the paint and just tapping down, getting everywhere, and when I've finished, I'll show you. So I put the words on. I have grains and number 9. I'm liking that. And next I want to do a little bit of what I quite often do on books and things like that is I get the pad of the ink, and I'm going to run this around the edges of the board, and just especially the corners. I do that quite heavily, and I'm just tapping it around the edges to give a little bit of a darkness. And I'm going to show you that. I'm thinking a little darker here. I'm going to see what it looks like. I may have to use the black, we'll see. What do you think so far? I'm going to go in with a little bit of an artist brush and just use a little bit of paint. Let's see, what brush do I want? This one's good. And I'm just going to randomly just go around the edges of the inside piece, just randomly, just giving it some cornering. I'm just using again the lid of the paint just because I want it kind of dry brushed. Just using the brush around, mostly on the inside, but a little bit on the outside, just to give it a little bit of depth. Last part, I think. And I'm just going to run it a little bit around the edges here. The grey ink wasn't quite enough, so I'm just going to go over it a little bit with the paint, just to edge it a little. And the last edge here. And this is what we've got going on. This is pretty much finished. I do have to finish painting the sides, painting the underneath, and painting the feet. They'll just be plain white. And then this is finished for a tray to decorate, put your plant on, or however you want it to be. So then we're going to be finishing the plates next for our farmhouse theme. So my plate is nice and dry. It's just got one coat of the white linen chalk paint, and now I'm going to go back in with my cowl again, and I'm just going to do the head going to do black ink on this because I want this to be a bit more prominent. So I'm going to kind of cut where I want it to be and just put the black ink where I want just the head in the middle of this plate. So I'm going to make sure I just get that. I don't want anything else. So I'm going to try and get it in the middle best I can. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. And I'm just going to press down just the head. And I'm lifting the rest up because I did use this actual stamp just a moment ago on the other piece, so I don't want that grey to come out in case there's still some ink on here. Trying not to shift, it's a little bit slippery on the surface, so I'm just going to press down and see if I've got a nice, oh, I need just a little bit more actually. See if I can put it back. Sometimes you can put it back and sometimes you can't. I just want to get the eye. There you go, perfect, got the eye. And that's what we have so far. We have, and I'm going to do the rest of the plates. So let's get the next one. And I'm going to find what I need. I'm going to do the sheep next. So I'm just going to do the head again with the black and just putting it in the middle. And just pressing it down right in the middle of the plate. Make sure I get the eye this time. That's nice, I like that. There's the sheep we have. And I'm going to carry on, as I say, doing the rest of the plates. But what I'm going to do is show you what I'm doing next. So I'll be doing the rooster and the pig on the others. But before I do those, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do next. Again, I'm using the pad of the black and I'm just going to press it all the way around my plate. And what I'm trying to achieve is it to look a bit like an enamel plate, the old-fashioned enamel. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just gonna just go in just a little bit, all the way around. And watch that you don't smudge as you're going, so try not to hold it. All the way around the plate. And I will hold that up the best I can to show you. As I say, it's still wet, so I don't want to smudge it. But there you go. That's one plate done. And we will do, let's do the cow one just to show you. So this is our farmhouse theme. So I'm going to go around with this one. That one's done. And if I can just show you. There you go. Very simple. Very simple. And these, as I say, are decorative only, so we cannot eat off these now. So the next plate I'm going to do, what do we have here? A pig. I actually have a pig myself. I have little Hampson. It's getting fatter and fatter, so not so little anymore. I do own a pig as a pet. Take him for walks. He has a little harness for his walks. So I will put in Hampson on this plate. Right in the middle. make sure I get his snout. Isn't snout a funny word? It's one of my husband's favourite words. He loves saying snout because he says it always makes him smile and laugh when he says snout. Very nice. Just show you that. There's the pig, and then we'll do the edge. So I'm going to, once these are properly dry, and when I finish painting the underneath of my little tray and finish the farmhouse, I will clear coat everything. I'm just going to clear coat, I'm not going to do any more to it. And then I will display them. And at the end of this video you will see some nice plate pictures. Let's finish the last plate. Just will do the last one for you. So let's do the rooster on this one. Let's see if I can find the rooster. There it is. So I'm just going to do this last one here to show you, and then I will finish them and display them. It's right in the middle. Once you're down, you can't shift, or else it'll just smudge. And the only way to get out of that then is to let it dry and just paint back over it with the white and start again. So push down. Oh, very nice. I like that. I'll just do the edge and then I'll show you the whole thing. And as I say, be careful when you're picking it up because the ink's still wet. And there you go, it's the last one. So once they are completely dry, I will clear coat these, and then we'll display them, and you'll see them coming up. Next is the pictures of the display of my farmhouse video. I hope you enjoyed. As I say, thumbs up if you like, and please subscribe to my channel as I have more to show you, lots to come. I'm Julie from Julie's Everything Treasures, and I hope you enjoyed, and that's just a little quick farmhouse fun today. Thanks for watching. I love these plates, I love the way they came out, but I don't know, something seems missing for me. So I had a look around and I found this. It's a stencil here, and I said to myself, if this fits perfectly, I'm going to put it on, and if it doesn't, leave it the whole thing alone. Anyway, there I go. I put it down and it fits perfectly. Now I have to find it perfect middle and put it in, or else it's going to look silly. So I am going to do some more stenciling. I'm going to get some paint on the lid here, take some off, and I'm just going to take my time because it's got quite an angle. So I'm going to just do the words and just slowly go around the edge with this. And just take my time because, as I say, it's a little bit of a curve. So just slowly going to tap around. I'm going to do each one so that they are matching. So I'm just going to show you on this first one. As I say, it's because it's stenciling, I don't want it to be all smudgy, and it is on a bit of an angle, so I'm just going to take my time. I'm using the charcoal grey chalk paint and just doing one word at a time, pushing it into place. I'll push this one down. And as I say, I would have left it. I did like the plates, I did love how they came out, but to me it felt like something was missing. So I figured I'll have a think, I'll have a sit down and think. And then this came to me, was this stencil being round, and I thought, let's see what we can do. So and sometimes you have to kind of, you know, step back and see if you want to add or delete. I mean, the good thing about this is if I don't like it, I can just go back in with the white paint again and just paint over it. And just letting yourself know when enough's enough, and sometimes you want more. And I just felt like this needed more. This is a stencil, Jamie Ray vintage stencil, and it's a green stencil, so it kind of goes with the theme of Farmhouse. I used one of her greens ones for the actual tray. So let's see how it works out, shall we? I'm just taking my time, as I say, because it is a little bit on an angle because it's a plate, it's round. So you don't want too much paint on your brush when you're doing stenciling. You're better to do it a few times rather than it being thick. So if you find it's thick, take some off. Now this is quite a long word, so I'm just going to do 2 letters at a time because I got to push it down so it's in place. And hopefully I have it centered, but if not, it's rustic, and there you go. So we'll see what this one turns out like and whether we want to do the others. I might have to touch up a little bit, I think, with the white paint, just because it seems to have got a little bit everywhere, but that's okay, I can touch up. Almost done, almost all the way around. I've got one more word to do, so. And then the big reveal. See if I made the right decision or not. So let's see. I always find when I'm stenciling, I kind of get excited towards the end and I get a little bit thick with the paint. So you can always tell the last bit I did because I want to see what it looks like instead of just taking my time. Just a little left. Two more letters and we are done. Just gotta get them flat, hold on. One more letter. And I think I have done. Let's see what it looks like and whether it was good. I think it was. I just got to touch it up a little bit. So let's see. Trying. There. I like it. I'm liking it. I got a little bit of the inside here, but I'm actually liking that, so I think I'm going to go back on and get more of that. But let's see. Wait for it to dry and then I will get more of that. The farmhouse decor is finished and staged. I thought I'd just show you here quickly and then I'll do some pictures. I chose some pretty rustic farm looking items to go with my decor, just to bring in the theme of it being farmhouse. I think the plates look amazing. I'm very happy. There's a little piggy one. And I've got a rustic bucket, a little tool caddy that I think was made out of like an oranges box, and then we have our tray. I think that farmhouse look looks great, especially on my farmhouse hutch. What do you think? I think it looks great. Give it a thumbs up. Whoops, must be a little dipsy there. Give it a thumbs up. There you go, thumbs up if you like it, and please subscribe to my channel. Farmhouse look is one of my favorites. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back soon. I'm Julie from Julie's Everything Treasures.